Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima, and I'm here checking out Tiny Tank. Yes, I know, this is an incredibly weird game even for me to be checking out, but when I started doing older games on this channel, I said to myself, well, I've always wanted to do something along the lines of me going through and checking out older games that I never got a chance to get around to and using the ability to do videos on them as an excuse, and I don't know how Tiny Tank ended up being the first console game I decided to come and take a look at, but it did, so we're doing it. Thankfully, there's not that much to see in this one outside of its options menu. I had to actually hit start there just to make sure that it didn't go to a demo. It's very quick to go to that. But you can change a few things. You can make it harder or easier if you want. You've got multiple different sound sliders, which is actually a nice touch. And you can also rebind a bunch of different keys. Like, for example, you can rebind turret right and left to say left and right, but then that rebinds turn right and turn left. I'm going to leave the controls as they are by default, but these controls are usually okay. It's just not really helped out by the fact that the game's actual controls, like once you actually get into the game, are a bit odd. So you have a single-player campaign, and you have a two-player split-screen head-to-head battle mode, which is neat, but considering that I am the physical manifestation of the Forever Alone meme, we're not going to be doing that. We're just going to go and hop straight into the game itself. Now, the game does actually have a weird way of handling lives. You see, this game does actually come with them. The more points you get, actually, I don't think the game's got points, but, like, you know, the more stuff that you do, the more that you kill, the more lives that you get. However, lives are persistent, and they will carry over between saves and levels. So I did manage to get to a certain stage in the game here, but I'm on my last life, and I can't really earn any more. So when I die next on that save, that's it. So chances are you're going to want to play through the entire game really well to make sure you have more lives for the later stages. Thankfully, there is a way around this limitation, and that's cheats, because this is an old console game, and they actually have cheats instead of locking away cheats either A, behind paywalls, or B, just getting rid of their existence altogether to make sure that achievements aren't cheated. So we can actually do this, but I'm going to need to use three hands for this one. The level select key for this game is holding L1, L2, R1, R2, left, circle, and select. There we go. Had to give it 2 tries. This will bring us to a level select game. Now, notably, I have actually been through over half of this game. I have beaten most of the levels on the left here. I think the one I'm up to is the Magneto Synchrotron Transporter, or at least close to it. I didn't save after beating the underground recycling plant, but we're going to go for the Magneto Synchrotron Transporter, and this does actually come with one of the game's neat FMV cutscenes, which I'm just going to shut up and let you listen to.
Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Centrax is pleased to introduce Tiny Tank.
Hi, America. Hi, boys and girls. You know, in the wrong hands, a tool can be misused. A carpenter can bake a cake. Well, that's not right. A carpenter can't bake a cake.
Cut.
Hi, America. Hi, boys and girls. You know, with the wrong hands, a carpenter could drop a hammer in a cake. I'm sorry.
Cut.
Hi, America. Hi, boys and girls. You know, any tool knows how to bake a cake, but you wouldn't want a programmer to neuter your hammer.
Tiny.
Why hire a taxi driver to build a spaceship or give your appendix to a fireman?
Tiny.
With the wrong hands, you'll just drop your tools in the carpenter, and there's going to be cake all over the carpet. Real messy. So, oh yes. Did I flub a line?
Cut.
Hi, carpenters. Carpenters. I said carpenters.
Cut.
We do have fun, don't we?
Cut.
Hi, America. Hi, boys and girls. In the wrong hands, any tool can be misused. A carpenter can't bake a cake. A programmer can't neuter your pets. You wouldn't let a taxi driver build a spaceship or a fireman take out your appendix. Why have humans fight your wars? Feel safe. Vote yes. Don't be a tool.
No.
Let me and be used.
No.
What do you want from me? I'm only human.
Cut.
Okay, that one actually got me. This game's sense of humor is fantastic, and I'm sorry to say that there isn't very many more of those cutscenes. They give you one every couple of levels to just give it a little bit of extra humor, and it actually works really well. I didn't expect it to be as funny as it was when I first booted it up, but I have legitimately laughed out loud at a lot of those stupid cutscenes.
This is a high-speed transportation system. Experimental robot train called Slither floats on a magnetic field. Your mission, blow up all the rotating towers and destroy Slither. Aim for the rear. That's the weak spot. Good luck.
Okay, easy done. So that's your objective, and each level actually has a different objective, and they also have things like different enemies to fight. So, Tiny Tank... Oh, the radio guy's talking. I don't want to interrupt him. And there's the music. Alright, so, as I was saying before, Tiny Tank is it's a simple game, except not really. It's got a little bit of action, a little bit of platforming, and a fair bit of humor on the side. Especially with that silly pun they had going on there. Iron Witness News, as in eyewitness, but iron? Yeah. They've got a few bad puns like that. They've also got this weird little call-in radio station that happens every now and again, where literally robots from this world that's been taken over by the robots that made Tiny Tank, the company that made Tiny Tank. The story in this game is a little weird. But, yeah, basically the game's kind of nuts. So, yeah. You've got Tiny Tank, you move him around using the D-pad, and much as you might expect, there are tank controls. You do get a couple of extra little things to work with. Like, you have the ability to press the L2 and the R2 buttons to do, like, strafe hops, which are definitely more useful than you might think. You also have the ability to pick up guns off of blown up enemies, which is very useful when you can actually, you know, make it happen and not get absolutely destroyed by the bunch of random robots running around. Thankfully, the game's combat is actually made pretty simple, because your turret will automatically lock onto stuff, and your other guns will basically always fire in front of you. You can also use the L1 and R1 buttons to rearrange the angle that your turret is on. So I can actually use it to fire behind me, and if there's someone behind me, the auto aim will actually pick up on it and fire bullets backwards. So, the combat is actually surprisingly easy to control. What's not so easy to control is the fact that the game has this annoying tendency to introduce platforming segments sometimes, and I died, but I'll come right back in a couple of seconds. There we go. So, I just need to try and find my way out of here. But I don't think it's going to let me, unfortunately, which isn't great. But yeah, basically this is the majority of the game, going around and shooting at dudes. And this is actually fun. I am surprised at how much I enjoyed this. As I said, the controls are a bit clunky. You are working with a series of tank controls, and they are a bit twitchy. They do have a couple of things to help out with this, like the ability to double tap to bring you up to full speed. But other than that, it's pretty easy. It's pretty wacky. Ooh, dear. It's a bloody roller coaster in here is what it is. But yeah, there are some weird things going on. Like, you can see how the camera has decided to just move out for some reason. It just decided to be like, hey, I don't want you to actually look at what you want to look at anymore, so you're stuck at looking at this bloody wall. That's an example of the lock-on having a bit of a fit. And the platforming controls. Now, you do have the ability to press X to jump and then press X again to double jump and all of that sweet jazz. But other than that, that is pretty much your entire platforming control scheme. And that can be kind of annoying. Mainly because of how precise some jumps can be and the weird platforming segments they introduced. The first time I tried to record this video and failed miserably because platforming in this game is a bit of a dick. How the hell do I get out of this bloody transport? I'll just float up here for a bit. There we go. I'm close to losing my next life again, which is unfortunate. There I go.
The road to nowhere.
Oh, and there I go again. Right. Let's try and get back on this loop here so that I can focus on this. But yeah, the platforming controls kind of suck. The rest of it, though, not too bad. Again, you do have some weird controls going on with the bloody... Yeah, do have some weird controls going on with the way your guns fire and lock onto shit, but otherwise most of it is fairly self-explanatory, and there's a lot of it that can be forgiven, mainly because we are talking about a PlayStation 1 game here. And a fairly simple one too, if I'm being perfectly honest. It's not that difficult to understand at all. Alright, we'll just go back to the other side here, because I don't think there's anything else through here that we need to get rid of. I would really like to find out a way off this bloody train track at some point. Although I will give the game credit, this does give the game a bit more variety than you might expect. The game's variety is actually surprisingly high. It's got a lot of different missions, and every mission will have you doing something slightly different. There's this weird mission that has you flying, there's this weird mission that has you floating on this weird little magnetic set of conveyor belts, and you have to try and take the opportunity to, I'm guessing I'm gonna have to destroy that train. That's my only guess on what's going on right now. But anyway, as I was saying, the overall variety of the game is actually impressive just because of how much stuff there is. Oh, good lord. Can I just... Nope. I tried. I can slow down. That's a nice thing to note. But yeah, the game's got a nice bit of variety, which is good. Including this weird one where you're on this, what's clearly like an assembly line. And what you have to do is you have to make sure that certain things on the assembly line get cooled down so that you have the ability to go and... Oh, crap. Oh. I need to try and get around behind that train. Hold the right key. There we go, and get my turret facing the right way. And now we're behind it. Awesome. But yeah, there's a neat amount of variety. You've got missions where you have to go around and find a lot of different weapons and try and beat the crap out of everything in your way. There's a few where you have to skulk around an area looking for a particular exit. There's this one really neat mission where basically they tease you with this invisible tank the whole time, and they make you go and try and... They make you go throughout the whole level seeing glimpses of this tank as your boss fight before you actually get to it completely. It's all really neat stuff. And the game definitely does have a lot of neat little things going for it in that sense. It does also have this unique upgrade system, which I'm not going into just yet because there isn't really any need to, because enemies haven't been dropping very many guns. So we actually need them to drop a few guns for me. There we go. Now I can actually get off, I can go hop on the rocket platform, and that will hopefully take us to the next level. It should take us to the next level. No, I should just go and hop on. I should not stick around here for too long. If I can get the platforming controls to work for me for a couple of seconds. There we go.
I am Tankolio.
Yes, Tankolio. It's weird. It's supposed to be the year like 2298, and Tankolio is a very outdated reference. So yeah, there's all your stats. 8 minutes on that level. This game is actually fairly short. There's a YouTube playthrough of it that's like an hour and a half long. But let's see. Let's just hit continue and go straight to the next level. Alright, well, I game overed there because the platforming segments are a real pain in the arse, I must admit. They also have this annoying tendency to come out of nowhere, which is what has happened both times I've tried to record a video on this damn game. So we're going to have to use that little level select sheet again because, god damn it. So let's go Come on, I can do this. I did this before. There we go. Let's go to the underground recycling plant. That's a relatively combat-focused level. But yeah, as I said, the platforming controls are kind of pants, and they tend to have this annoying tendency to come up and you need them out of nowhere. I feel bad for someone who got to that bloody ice level on 1 life. Sure, there was an extra life there that constantly respawned, but man, they really could have put more ice chunks under the surface, especially ones that you didn't just fall right through. I don't understand. Alright, we're just going to skip the intro cutscene of this part. So, same basic deal. You just got to try and get to the end of the level. And there are things that we can interact with. So yeah, let's hop on this button here. Bloody unusual music they got going on in the background here, but okay. So there are some other controls that I need to go over at some point. So we might as well do that now. So you do have these weird little deployable drones that you can drop off by pressing the circle button. Normally, if you hit circle, you can remote control them, but I'm guessing on this part of the level that's not going to be a possibility. If we hold the select button, this actually brings up our weapon upgrade screen. You actually pick up guns off enemies in levels as you kill them. So let's see if we can actually demonstrate. Come here.
Heck yeah, they got nothing like this at Disneyland.
Come on.
Heck yeah.
He's not that goddamn strong. He should be dead.
Heck yeah.
There we go. So once you take out an enemy, you should be able to go and pick up their weaponry. So there's a gun there. Now if I hit the select button, you can see that the guns actually come up on the screen here. And you can actually transfer guns between slots if you feel like it. So you can move your guns anywhere you want. And of course, depending on the amount of those green brains that you pick up throughout the levels, you can actually upgrade them as well. So I can upgrade this gun, now it fires a hell of a lot faster. We can use this to our advantage to go and take on some more tanks. So you get this neat little set of upgradable weapons as you go along. You can also do the same to your little drones that you can deploy on pressing circle. Normally they're remote controlled, but if you upgrade them enough, like just one, will make them hunt around for things like upgrades for you, which is actually quite useful if you're trying to hunt down any particular, like, collectibles in a level, because they might end up just exploding against a hidden wall and let you pick up the pickups from within. But you can also set them to protect mode by assigning 2 of the drones to them, and once you've done that, the drones will pop out and just go hunting for the nearest enemy, like for example. Boom. Good night. And we get his gun too.
Hey, wait up. Heck yeah.
So yeah, that's basically the game in a nutshell. It's relatively simple, and the platforming segments can go to hell.
Great balls of fire.
But the actual combat is fun, and whenever they decide to pop out and just, like, get a little bit of humor going, it actually works really well. Tony speaking through the levels himself isn't particularly great, but the weird little cutscenes they have in between that do everything from, you know, parody just general advertisements to the weird little talk show radio they have on certain levels works really well, and it actually gives the game a fair bit more flavor than you might think. My only real criticism of that part...
To create a machine-friendly environment. I'm a little disappointed. Not in you. Disappointed in myself. I haven't urged you hard enough. I haven't phrased things properly. Let's try this again, shall we? Our tank was just a mascot, a joke, a leftover from the human age. We destroyed him once. Let's do it again, shall we?
Are you shooting more, getting less? Wish you could shave some CPU cycles off your tracking software? Now there's relief. TOS, Targeting Optimized Software. TOS will increase your accuracy rate by a full 5% or your money back. Order it by name. TOS. Download a demo version and a replicator near you. Act now and receive at no extra charge Mutank A Life, unique audio program that has inspired millions. TOS, Mutank A Life, order now. You can't miss. Now to take your calls, here's Mutank.
Hoover Tank in the Atmospheric Reduction Center, you're on the air.
Hey, Mithaldu. I don't have wheels or treads. I hover on cushions of air. Whenever I fire my impulse gun, I skid out of control like a hockey puck. I need traction. Bad. Could you recommend a good cosmetic surgeon?
I'm disappointed in you, Hoover. You are as you were meant to be. There are no design flaws. The only thing you need to change is your attitude. Use your head, work the angles, make the recoil factor work for you. Good luck. Mutank cares. Strike Blimp, you're on the air.
Roger. When Tiny Tank is caught in the glare of my spotlight, I will rain bombs upon his puny yellow carcass. There won't be enough left of him for a fix-it crab to fix. Over.
Now that's the can-do attitude I'm looking for.
Roger. However, I'm a little concerned about open flames. Should I worry? Over.
Don't let fear paralyze you. Listen to me, all of you, all my dear followers. Hoover Tank moves through the world virtually friction-free. The downside, slight loss of control when firing. Strike Blimp is a deadly balloon ready to rain doom upon any intruder's head. And yes, probability is in 20 days will be lighter than air. But air will soon be a memory. Only Tiny Tank stands between us and a perfect world. He is the flaw, not you. Mutank has spoken. Forward on the ball bearings of fate. Tomorrow belongs to steel. Back to work.
I just want to point out that Mutank, the guy who was taking those calls, is actually the major bad guy. Like, he's the end-all be-all. He's the boss.
They got nothing like this at Disneyland.
But yeah, as I was saying, platforming sections suck ass, but the rest of the game, it's cute sense of humor, it's simple but surprisingly engaging tank combat, it's weird little upgrade system it's got going on. It's all surprisingly enjoyable. I mean, I give it a lot more credit than I would normally expect from a game like this. I'm having fun with it, I'm hoping I can finish it, but god, that ice level that I bloody game overed on, which is kind of a bitch. Door? Thank you, door. God damn it, there's another door. There's always another door. He's trying to shoot me through it. The dick. Yeah, there we go. Just had to damage him enough. That's the stealth tank. That's actually the boss of this level. And the controls are going nuts again.
Hey, wait up.
I mean, the camera.
I'm screwed.
I'm not making this game look great, but then again, I never make any particular game look great, so there ain't much difference. There's a button around here last I remember. There it is.
I'm screwed. Non-compost metal.
You've also got a button that lets you taunt.
Free! I'll take mine to go.
It's a little bizarre that there's a taunt button in this game, but oh well. I'm probably, yeah, I was about to say I'm probably about to die, but it doesn't really matter because again, you just respawn in the same place most of the time. Now I remember this is an extremely bizarre boss fight, but I appreciate the concept. So here's the drill. You're controlling the body of this turret, but you're controlling the weapons of the other tank. And what you have to do is you have to try and make it so that you're attacking the other tank, which is an incredibly bizarre idea. It's also a bit bizarre that I'm getting the thing going on.
Greetings. Fast breaking story. A mountain of nanometal has exploded. It is not immediately known if Tiny Tank is irresponsible, but it's a pretty safe bet. The answer is yes. With the news you can use, I'm iron witness. Use it.
At least I'm pretty sure that's what you have to do. Trying to... There we go.
Thank you for not farting. I want my head back.
Yeah, that should do it. Oh, I forgot about that screen. I just put my bloody thing down while I waited for the bloody stat screen to come up, but that's cute. Yes, a ride on a river of lava. That is actually a really annoying platforming section. But we went through 2 levels of the game, and considering there's not that many, I don't want to play too much of it to spoil the entire ride. But, yeah, I'm enjoying Tiny Tank. The platforming controls suck, and they really are the main downside of the game. But outside of that, the combat itself is enjoyable with the weird little upgrade thing you've got going on with the green orbs and all that. The mission variety is actually surprisingly high with a lot of different things to do. And the just general sense of humor that has got going for it is fantastic, and I enjoy it quite immensely. Probably not a game for everyone, but, well, I enjoyed it. And I would recommend it, considering that chances are the only way you're ever going to be able to play this is by getting an ISO off the internet, which is what I've done, and playing it that way, which is... Considering that's free and you're not going to be able to get the game any other way, I've heard of worse things to do with your time and only your time. This was played on BizHawk with the Mendefen PlayStation core, because that's the best way to play with that core of Mendefen without resorting to some stupid front end or something like that. So there you go. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.